Sam Presti called me and just said that, sorry, we love you, but, we've traded you to the Houston Rockets. That was, a very, very sad night. It's been almost 4 years and I still think about it. What if?
A couple years back, a report came out saying that James Harden, years after being traded from the Thunder, would still spend team plane rides in Houston watching footage of him, Westbrook, and Durant all playing together back in OKC. He's spoken about it himself. This is something that haunts him. It's been biting away at him for years. All that time in Houston, subconscious or not, Harden was always seeking something bigger. He was waiting for the moment something like the trio he formed in OKC would emerge in Texas. It never came. He waited and waited and waited only to be left, to be forced to continue to think about the past. The judgment became clouded. Slowly, the memories were being looked at through rose-colored glasses. All he wanted was that time back, and in his obsession with dwelling on what could have been, he didn't look at what was currently being. No longer was he that sixth man scorer. In his pursuit to dominate every facet of the game, he had morphed into a force on the basketball court greater than what anybody had ever seen coming. Harden was looking back at a time capsule, an extract of the past, failing to recognize that things had changed, things had progressed, the world had moved on, and yet the piece of the puzzle that had been shifted and changed the most still clung on. The move sent James Harden spiraling down the path of delusion. Chris Paul wasn't what he was looking for. He was great, but not what he once had. Houston listened. They got him Russ. Finally, a fragment of his utopian vision stood before him, repping the same jersey that he was. Things failed, worse than they ever had before. Tired and distraught, Harden gave up. He said that there's nothing left that he can give to this team, that there's no way to get out of the slump and fix things in Houston, when really he's just coping with the realization that his Prince Charming had failed him. The entire vision, everything he was waiting on, came and left within the blink of an eye. This wasn't how things were supposed to play out. Never once had he even ever considered such a possibility. His entire world had been shattered. But he was stubborn. He continued to chase that false prophecy that would still continue to dictate and determine everything that he did, ingrained in his mind, absolutely rent-free. Westbrook didn't work, but there had been a third member of the trio. Desperate and clinging on to whatever he had left, Harden set his sights on Durant. Now he's the one wearing the new jersey, and yet that same very prophecy continues to linger. It continues to bite down on his mind and eat away at everything that he has left. Things are exactly the same. They say that you don't know what you have until it's gone, and Harden knows that better than anyone given how much he lost with that trade that sent him to Houston. And yet, he'll have to relearn this lesson yet again, when slowly he'll begin to fade off into the sunset and recognize everything that Houston had done for him. Slowly, he'll recognize that even if he didn't have Kevin Durant, he had a lot. And once it all goes away, his peak ends, retirement ensues, and he's forced to reflect, he is going to be hit hard with the realization that he wasted almost all of his time chasing for something that had already left years ago. And maybe that was just meant to be.